The movie begins during Thanksgiving in America. Sheriff Eric is heading to dinner at his friend Mitch's house, along with Mitch's wife, Amanda, their friend, Thomas, who owns the store where Mitch works, his daughter, Jessica, and his new wife, Kathleen. Suddenly, Mitch looks upset because he received a work call to help his colleagues on Black Friday, a very busy day due to sales. He says goodbye and heads to the store. After that, Jessica tells them she's going out with her boyfriend Bobby and a group of friends to the cinema. They get into their friend Ivan's car, along with Gabby, Scoba, and Yulia. Suddenly, Ivan stops in front of Jessica's father's store because he wants to buy a phone and take advantage of the Black Friday discounts. He asks Jessica to let them in through the back to avoid the crowd, and she agrees, letting them in before the store opens. At this time, the crowd outside is huge, and Lisa gets upset when she sees Jessica and her friends entering. She asks security guard Manny to let them in too, but he refuses, saying they must wait. Lonnie and Amy encourage people to storm the store, and the attack begins. Amanda arrives with food for Mitch, but he is anxious and asks Dodge to lock the door. However, the crowd breaks the door down and steps on Dodge until he dies. One of the customers gets injured and dies from the glass, and Amanda crashes her car and dies. Bobby tries to help her, but he breaks his finger and Mitch runs to her, screaming when he finds out she's dead. At that moment, Eric arrives, pulls out his gun, and fires a shot into the air to stop the chaos. A year after the store tragedy, an unknown person watches a video documenting what happened, and it turns out that Ivan filmed it and uploaded it to the internet as a way to commemorate the event. Thomas, the store owner, announced that the security cameras were malfunctioning at the time, which prevented the authorities from charging anyone. Meanwhile, the unknown person follows the news and learns that Thomas is preparing for the new Black Friday, with extra security to prevent the tragedy from happening again. In the same news segment, Mitch, who resigned, appears and participates in a large protest demanding the closure of the store and the trial of Thomas. At a restaurant, Jessica is sitting with her friends, and they are puzzled by an anonymous account tagging them in a video of the store incident. The account is called John Carver, the first historical governor of the state, and it has no followers, so they start suspecting Bobby is behind it. While talking, Ryan, Jessica's new boyfriend, shows up, and she introduces him to her friends. Later that night, Lisa, who was there during the incident, is alone in her restaurant when someone wearing a John Carver mask attacks her. She tries to escape and manages to reach her car, but she's shocked to find the killer inside the car trying to run her over. Lisa runs towards the trash bin to jump inside, but the killer hits her with the car, trapping her inside and slicing her body in half. The next day, everyone sees Lisa's body hanging on the store's sign. Meanwhile, Ivan is at school and is shocked when he sees a post with a picture of Lisa's body. He runs to his friends and tells them that the person who posted it tagged all of them in the post and says he's the same person calling himself John Carver, who had tagged them in a previous post. Jessica checks her phone and looks at the earlier post, shocked to find their names listed on the table that John Carver had prepared for them. Eric meets Jessica in his office and shows her a video posted days before the murder, which clearly shows Lisa. He explains that the crime is connected to the people who were in her father's store during the incident last year and insists that he's sure her father hid the security footage. He asks her to bring it. After leaving the station, Jessica meets Bobby, who tells her he disappeared from social media after being injured in his hand, which ended his baseball career, leaving him frustrated. However, he's recovering now and working with his uncle in car maintenance. That night, Manny, the store security guard, is at home preparing to travel for 2 days. Suddenly, he hears a strange noise and thinks it's a thief, but he realizes the killer is in his house, attacks him, and kills him. The next day, Jessica wakes up to a post from John Carver with a picture of Lisa's body and Manny's head on the table. She's terrified and goes to her father's office to look for the hidden footage. She finds the pictures on his computer and takes them with Bobby to the station. There, Eric examines the pictures and Bobby points out Lonnie and Amy and says Lonnie was the one who encouraged people to storm the store. Also, Ryan appears in the photos, shaking hands with Dodge before he was killed. Eric thanks them for their help and tells them to stay safe. Later that night, Jessica is with her friends and tells them what happened at the police station. They're shocked to learn that the killer is targeting anyone who was in the store during the incident. Everyone is surprised to find out that Ryan didn't tell Jessica he knew Dodge, who worked at the store. They begin to suspect Ryan as the killer, but Ivan says he suspects Bobby, as he has a strong motive for killing because of the injury that affected his future in baseball. Scoba suggests that the killer might be Mitch, who resigned after the incident, thinking he might be seeking revenge for his wife Amanda's death. The next day, Lonnie and his girlfriend Amy are together, and Amy shows him her trampoline skills. Suddenly, the killer appears behind Lonnie and breaks his neck. Then, the killer goes down and stabs Amy while she's practicing, killing her. The next day, Jessica is waiting for Gabby and Ivan to come out of school, and Eric tells her that Lonnie and Amy, who were in the store, were killed the night before. Jessica texts Gabby, urging her to come out quickly, but Gabby replies asking her to come inside the school to show her something important. Jessica enters the school and discovers her friends are gone and Gabby's phone is in the trash bin. Suddenly, the killer attacks her, trying to cut her throat with an axe. Jessica barely escapes, runs, and gets outside the school. After meeting Eric and telling him what happened, she says the killer was wearing a black hat and a John Carver mask. Jessica is worried about Gabby and Ivan and fears the killer has killed them. Eric reassures her that they've searched the school and found no trace of them, which means they're either hiding or the killer has kidnapped them. Eric asks Jessica to go home and reassures her that he will assign guards to protect her and her friends. Later, Bobby and Ryan come to check on Jessica. At that moment, Bobby confronts Ryan and asks him why he hid his relationship with Dodge, the security guard who worked at the store. Ryan explains that he used to buy illegal substances from Dodge, which is why he never mentioned him. Then, Julia's father arrives to take her and leave the city. At night, Julia is at home preparing to travel with her father when the killer sneaks into the house, shoots the police guard with a drugged arrow, knocking him unconscious. The killer then drugs Julia's father, knocking him out as well, and goes to Julia's room to find her talking to Scoba and Jessica via video call. The killer holds Julia in front of the phone so Scoba and Jessica can see her. After they see her, Scoba and Jessica rush to Julia's house to save her. They search the house until they find her with the killer in her father's workshop. Scoba pulls out his gun and threatens the killer, but the killer shows him a picture of Gabby and Ivan tied up, using their shock to his advantage. The killer then starts a chainsaw and throws Julia onto it, cutting her up, and she dies. Scoba rushes to her, but is too shocked to believe she's gone. The group later gathers at Thomas's house, Jessica's father. Eric suggests that they participate in the Thanksgiving parade the next day, believing it's a chance to lure the killer in and arrest him. Thomas agrees. The next day, Thomas, his wife Kesslin, his daughter Jessica, and her friend Scoba are in the parade. The killer appears disguised as a clown, attacking the festival mascot and chopping off its head with an axe. Chaos erupts as the killer throws smoke bombs and disappears. A police officer rushes toward them to help them escape, but the clown reappears and shoots the officer with a drugged arrow. The killer then shoots Thomas and his companions with the same arrow, knocking them unconscious. When they wake up, they find themselves tied to a table just like in the post online, with Gabby and Ivan tied up as well. Suddenly, the killer brings out Kathleen's body, showing it to them after having killed and burned her in an oven. The group is horrified. The killer places a phone in front of Ivan and begins streaming what's happening. He then hits Ivan in the head with a hammer, killing him. Jessica takes the opportunity to cut the rope tying her with her ring and gives it to Scoba so he can free himself. Once Scoba is free, he uses a chair to strike the killer and helps Jessica escape the room. The killer chases them, catching up before they can flee, and Scoba blocks him to give Jessica time to escape. The killer strikes Scoba with the axe in the shoulder, knocking him down, and chases after Jessica, who runs into the forest. Jessica reaches a metal fence, climbs it, and escapes to the city. In the city, Jessica finds Eric lying unconscious in front of their car. She spots the killer entering a nearby building and takes Eric's gun, following him inside. She's shocked to find Bobby hiding inside the building. Suddenly, Eric regains consciousness. Jessica tells him that Bobby is the killer. Eric takes the gun and asks her to leave while he confronts Bobby. She stands outside the building and hears gunshots. Eric comes out and says he shot Bobby, but Bobby escaped. The police arrive shortly after and begin searching for Bobby, but they find nothing. Eric and Jessica are in a room in the building when Detective Chu enters, handing Eric a phone he found at the scene. Eric says it's Bobby's phone and places it as evidence. Chu reassures Jessica that her father, Gabby, and Scoba are in the hospital receiving medical care, and he'll go check on them. Eric said he would take Jessica to the hospital, but after Detective Cho left, Jessica noticed the mud on Eric's boots and realized that he was the one chasing her, and the killer who committed the crimes. Jessica tried to hide her shock, but Eric noticed the surprise on her face and understood that she had figured him out and knew he was the real killer. Eric locked the door and told Jessica that she and her friends were responsible for everything that happened because she allowed her friends to enter the store before the incident, which caused people to attack the store and kill Amanda. Jessica was shocked because she knew Amanda was married to Mitch. Eric said that he and Amanda had been in love and that Amanda was going to divorce Mitch and marry him after Thanksgiving. Eric threatened to take revenge on anyone connected to Amanda's death, and he confessed that he killed Lizzie, Manny, Lonnie, and Amy because they were the cause of the attack on the store. He also admitted to killing Caslin because she had hidden the evidence from the police. When Jessica asked him about Bobby's involvement, he said he had planned to frame him, but Bobby ran away from him. After Eric finished speaking, he realized that Jessica was live streaming on Bobby's phone and exposing him to the public. Eric became furious and attacked Jessica to kill her, but suddenly Bobby threw a rock at the glass, knocking Eric to the ground. Bobby entered the room, took Jessica, and ran with her until they reached his car. Eric chased them, tied his car to a pole in the tow area to prevent their escape, and held an axe to attack them. But Jessica shot the rifle at a balloon next to Eric, causing the gas to explode and creating a huge fire. Bobby quickly drove away, and the police and fire department arrived. Jessica thanked Bobby, said goodbye, and he left. Later, Jessica saw the fire chief telling Detective Cho that there were no bodies at the scene, and everything had turned to ash, but she saw a firefighter holding the axe that had been with Eric. The next day, Jessica dreamed that Eric came out of the closet, surrounded by fire, and attacked her. The movie ends here. If you liked the movie, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to support our efforts and to see daily movie summaries. Bye.